So I'm going to explain very clearly and where people will understand. The people that are in one of these two camps I'm going to talk about are too far gone, most of them, okay? But those that were always sort of on the edge like me, where it was like, no, something's not right about what they're saying about, and I mean the other side that everybody thinks we're the truthers, think back to when right before the 2020, because obviously this came because of the virus, right? Yeah. So prior to that, though, what had been going on the 3 years? Because even people that weren't people that watched the news regularly saw this happening regularly. It was weekly. What was happening weekly? Weekly, U.S. Marshals were saving women and children from trafficking all over the United States. It was happening weekly for a while. Because I kept screenshotting them to say, I'm like, what's going on? And then I would be talking to nurses at work, and they were saying the same thing, like, what's going on with these kids and women and kids being saved? What's going on? So it started, like, people started waking up, like, wait a minute, there's something going on in our world we didn't realize, because why is this all happening? It was 2 or 3 times a week. It was U.S. Marshals, Operation Homebound, Operation Save a Life. Every single one of them had Operation Save a Life, save this many women and children, this 2 or 3 times a week. So that elite, those cartels, and when I say cartels, I mean your Kennedys, that Kennedy dynasty, that whole network of people. And that's what it is, a network. Just like the news is a network, they're a network too. They were another news network. That a bunch of people who think they came awake, but really they were sheep again, yet calling the other people that took this sheep. Because that was both the virus and this served one purpose, and it did exactly what it was designed to do. Everybody forgot about those U.S. Marshals saving, and everybody forgot about it. In fact, people probably, if they think about it, they might remember it. Because that was an eye-opener to many, many people. I mean, people that weren't even, I didn't follow a letter. Like, the people that followed a letter knew what that was all about, but it was just like your everyday people like me that didn't follow that, but followed politics closely, or even those that didn't, saw that happening. It was like, what's going on? Why is there all these people that were kidnapped and you know? So both the virus and this were designed to do exactly that. Their goal was that. And here's one of the reasons I know this to be true, because I followed Reiner Flumik. Some people may know who that is. I believe he's in the Kennedy network personally. But he's a lawyer out of California, and he started in 2020 doing this Corona Committee. Every week, 3-hour interviews with different people that were very knowledgeable. This is where you got the guy that came up, where he came with the term, which is a true term, mass psychosis. He was a psychologist. Yeah, talked about having the public being mass psychosis. And so there was a lot of good things and a lot of good interviews he did. The red flag to me, because it wasn't just about this with that. They were talking about all over the world, different countries and their history, about the banking system, about how we've been lied to. Every week there were different people they interviewed. However, they did have Whitney Webb on there. So, you know, I kind of made it clear what I think, that I think she's just an insider. But she's just part of that network, that's all. But what I followed that really till the end, and I was religious about listening every week. And yet the one thing that was never talked about was trafficking. Just like those networks that those people that think they came awake, but then they jumped on those other network bandwagons. And then they think, no, I know everything about the World Economic Forum. I know what they're trying to do with it. It's like, yeah, no, they're all the same network. But you won't convince the people that believe this, they're too far gone. And the people that believed the virus, are too far gone. But what both of those camps did was divide, because the very people that think, oh, I know the truth, I'm putting up videos about, I'm a proud non-this, I'm proud I didn't take it, were the same sheep calling the other people that did take it sheep. Yeah. Because both did the same thing, took away from the real pandemic, again, which was the trafficking of children. And that was coming to light. So neither are awake. Not the people that just followed blindly. And here's something else both did. Okay, remember how COVID, it became all about COVID. No other illnesses existed. Remember, everything shut down. Nothing. It was like there was no flu in like there was nothing. Everything was COVID, 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 COVID. COVID caused this car wreck. COVID caused this heart attack. COVID caused liver failure. And then what? A few months later, were they saying that about? Oh, this. Yeah, this caused myocardial heart attack. This caused liver failure. This caused this. This caused nanotechnology. Everything, and it kept people stuck, just like the virus kept everybody stuck to the other network, and when really both networks were doing the exact same thing. And then what was ironic about the ones that were supposedly the Trump supporters, but yet, I mean, the networks that were pushing, like your Stu Peters, it was, I can't support Donald Trump anymore. He's supporting this. And it's like, yeah, it's so designed. And nobody saw it. No, people just fell hook, line, and sinker for it. I work with nurses. I travel, as I've said. Okay. So, I know most nurses had to take it. I didn't, because of because of faith reasons more than anything. But it had nothing to do with, what I believed about it. I did listen, and I believed some of the stuff they were saying at first about this. But then I got to this point, because it kept going on. It was for so long, and it kept getting more intense about it. And I realized, it suddenly dawned on me, I'm like, wait a minute. Through all this, what's been forgotten is the U.S. Marshals that were saving women and children from trafficking. And then I realized that's what it was designed to do. That's what your Stu Peters, Kennedys, Reiner Flumix, Sherry Tenpennies, there's so many, I could go on and on. There's many of them. I hate to just single them out because there's many to call out. But they did exactly what we were told that they do, the wicked do. And that's to divide. Because then it became too where, you heard about shedding. So then all of a sudden, people that didn't take this, they didn't want to be around people that had taken it because of shedding. So when I started hearing that out of that Stu Peters camp and all those people they would interview that are supposedly everybody thinks are heroes, I was like, yeah, so this is just a way to divide, because now the same people that think that they're awake and they're calling all those other people sheep, they're actually have become sheep themselves and don't even realize it. Yeah. And there was nothing you could do. You couldn't say, and like I said, the most people you can't, yeah, this video only applies to those that didn't fall hook, line, and sinker into one of those two camps. The ones that fell hook, line, sinker for this, or into the virus, where it's just like, everything my government says is true, then I just pray God can do something, because they're too far gone. You won't get them off of it. What happened was designed to happen because that second network, I said, there's that mainstream media, and then there's that outer network that's going to grab you if they can. And a bunch of people grabbed them, and they're sure they know the truth about this, and they carried on about, elimination and all of this and blah, 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 a constant, and yet you will not get them off of it. You won't. They're too brainwashed. And they don't know they're brainwashed because they run around saying, you're telling me I'm not awake. And it's like, no, you fell into a different frying pan is all you did, which was you wanted to listen to somebody else. But what you failed to see, the most important thing you failed to see, was that what both the virus and this did was make you forget about the U.S. Marshals that had been saving women and children from trafficking.